Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can echo louder than thunder across the skies. One night, a tired waitress noticed a broken young soldier sitting alone in her diner booth, clutching a photo with trembling hands. She gave him comfort, never imagining her simple words would ripple into a miracle. Because the very next day, the roar of an F-22 Raptor shook the quiet town, and it wasn't just a jet that landed, but destiny itself. It was past midnight in the sleepy town of Willow Creek, the kind of town where nothing much ever happened. The old neon sign of Maggie's Diner buzzed in the still night, its flickering glow painting the windows in a soft blue light. Inside, Emily Carter, a young waitress in her mid-20s, was finishing the late shift. Life hadn't been easy for her, between taking care of her little brother, paying overdue rent, and dreaming of a future she felt slipping away. Emily was tired. But her heart never grew cold. Kindness was the one thing she never ran short of. That night, as she wiped down tables, the bell above the diner's door jingled. A young man in a wrinkled military uniform stepped inside. His boots were worn, his eyes hollow. He slid into a booth at the far corner, shoulders hunched as though the weight of the world rested on them. Emily walked over with her usual smile, but something about his trembling hands, the way he clutched a folded photograph, caught her attention. "Coffee?" she asked gently. He nodded, barely speaking. His voice, when it came, was rough and quiet. "Please, black." Emily poured him a hot cup, watching as he stared into it like it might hold answers. She didn't want to pry, but she could see he was fighting something inside, grief, maybe, or fear. Finally, she set her rag aside, slid into the booth across from him, and said softly, "You look like you've been carrying the world all by yourself. Sometimes, it helps to share it, even just a piece." The soldier lifted his eyes. They were red-rimmed, tired beyond years. "My name's Luke," he whispered. "I just came back from overseas. Lost, too many friends. And I don't even know how to be here anymore." Emily's chest tightened. She didn't know war, but she knew loss. She told him about her father's passing, about working 2 jobs just to keep her family afloat, about how sometimes the world feels too heavy to keep standing, but you stand anyway. Her words seemed to break something inside him. His shoulders shook, and for the first time, he let the tears fall. Emily reached across the table, taking his hand, holding it tight. "You're not alone, Luke. Not tonight. Not anymore." They sat in silence for a long time, her quiet presence becoming the anchor he didn't know he needed. By the time he left, the sky was beginning to lighten with the first hints of dawn. Luke looked back at her, his voice steadier now. "Thank you, Emily. You don't know what you just did for me." She smiled, not knowing that her kindness would ripple farther than she could imagine. The next day, Willow Creek was buzzing. People gathered outside, pointing toward the sky. The ground trembled as the roar of an engine filled the air. Emily rushed out of the diner, shielding her eyes as the shadow of a massive aircraft streaked across the clouds. And then, impossibly, it descended. An F-22 Raptor, sleek and silver, landing right in the open field outside town. The townsfolk gasped, their jaws dropping. Military jets didn't just land in small towns. This was something out of a movie. Soldiers moved quickly to secure the area, but Emily's heart raced as she spotted someone stepping down from the jet. It was Luke. But he wasn't the broken young man from last night. His uniform was sharp, his back straight, his eyes steady with a kind of fire she hadn't seen before. He walked right past the crowd, straight toward Emily, ignoring the whispers and stares. "Emily," he said, his voice strong but full of warmth. "Last night, you saved me in a way I can't explain. You reminded me what I was fighting for, what I came home to protect. I had to show you what that meant." Before she could respond, he motioned to the jet behind him. "I got permission to land here. It's not just a machine, it's a promise. A promise that people like you, people who carry kindness in their hearts, are the reason we come back alive. I wanted you to see that. I wanted you to know that you matter." Emily's eyes filled with tears, her chest tightening with emotions she didn't know how to hold. She'd spent so long feeling invisible, just another tired waitress in a forgotten town. Yet here stood a soldier, declaring that her kindness had lit a fire brighter than any weapon of war. The crowd erupted in applause, but Emily only saw Luke. He stepped closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "I don't just want to thank you, Emily. I want to know you. Really know you. Because last night, in that little diner, I found something worth living for again." Her lips trembled into a smile as she whispered back, "And maybe I found something too." The F-22 Raptor roared behind them, but in that moment, it was quiet between them, two souls who had crossed paths by chance, bound now by something deeper. And so, what began with a simple cup of coffee ended with a jet landing in a small town, with the promise of love rising higher than the skies above. Simplest kindness can change a life forever. You never know when your small light will guide someone out of their darkest night.